3. Hey everyone, ice fishing is almost here. By the time some of you are watching this, it probably already is here, and many of you are looking to buy a new electric auger this winter. So one of the questions I get asked quite frequently is, which one do I pick? And there are a lot of new ones I see on the market that I think will do well for this season, but there's been two really prevalent electric augers out there that seem to be dominating the market. And well, one of them is the StrikeMaster Lithium 40 volt. The other is actually just a piece. It's the Kdrill, which, well, requires a drill. But picking between the two has a lot more to deal with the resources you already have than which one is better or not. The thing about the Kdrill is, well, it's the lightest thing you're gonna find, and it cuts quite well. The problem, it truly does depend on the drill you put on it. A lot of times last season I ran into people out on the ice even that they got 4 or 5 rounds out of their Kdrill drilling through 18-20 inches of ice, and then it was done. And as easy it is to blame the unit, it actually has everything to do with the drill. So the thing is, if you don't know much about what drill to pick or to put on it, you're going to be in trouble, because that is what exactly you need to decide when getting the Kdrill versus something like the StrikeMaster 40 volt. It's recommended to be using an 18 volt or higher drill on the Kdrill unit, but the other variable is the battery size. It doesn't matter what voltage you have if you don't have enough amps to store what you need to get you through the ice. So a lot of times when people run out of juice before making it through very many holes at all, it's because their battery doesn't have enough storage. It doesn't have enough amps. Another thing to consider is how much they use their drill in the summer. The more times you cycle through that battery, the more you're going to wear it down and the less efficient it's going to be during the winter. This means if you have an old drill you think will work and you have, well, old batteries that seem to get the job done, they very well might not. Just like with anything, the more cycles you put through this, the more it's going to wear. Not only through time, but from use. So between the batteries and the drills, you might be putting a lot more money into the Kdrill than you think, which kind of cancels out the whole saving money thing. It's also a tough variable to deal with if you're not familiar with drills, amperage, how many cycles you put through, and your use. Now, if you're running both of them at 5 volts, the 40 volt will get more out of that individual battery in watts. So it's going to be a more powerful unit overall, and it's going to last a bit longer. But with that more powerful unit comes a bit more weight, as previously mentioned. So the StrikeMaster is going to weigh a bit more, but it has more power and it's going to get more out of those individual batteries. So take that into consideration. Ours came with 2 batteries, and that was absolutely perfect for what we needed. We could go all day, and yes, we go hard. We don't drill 100 holes in a day, because at some point, when are you drilling and when are you fishing? But we do a lot of hole hopping, and this thing was absolutely efficient, even with the extension on it. With that said, these batteries too wear over time, but if we're not cycling them as much, they're not going to wear quite as frequently. If you're looking for pure weight, the Kdrill, no matter what drill you put on it, will probably be much lighter. This unit is exceptionally lighter, as you guys seen on my last video, than the traditional gas and propane augers, and as a woman, it's quite freeing, but so is this. The other thing though is that this not only requires a drill, but you're going to have to buy a plate or something to actually leverage it. Otherwise, you're going to be spinning in circles with your drill. And now the 40 volt, after using the 50 volt the first year and being impressed, knowing they're also coming out with the more efficient unit, which they did last year, this was perfect. We wanted one designated unit. We didn't have to worry about drills. Our drills, in fact, the 2 we had were not adequate for the Kdrill, so we would have had to buy a new one, but yet they were plenty adequate for what we needed them for around the house and for our projects. So it made no sense to get the Kdrill when we would need to buy a new drill we don't actually need. Finally, I think the most important part is to understand where you're fishing, how often you're going to be fishing, and therefore the depth in which you will need to get through. How many inches of ice in a given year are you going to need to get through? Because if you're on the lighter end of that, then a lot of times the Kdrill is a great unit. If you're a hardcore ice fisherman and you know you're going to be drilling through feet of ice and you want electric to still be your main source auger for the entire season, then I recommend that you go with the 40 volt for that, because you have a designated unit, you have more power than you would with a 20 volt drill, and have a designated unit to go through that deep ice versus worrying about how much you used your drill in the off season, if you need to replace your batteries, do you have enough amperage in your batteries, that type of thing. Either way, you're not making a bad buy. Just consider these factors before committing to one or the other. The one question everybody wants me to answer is speed. Which one's faster? Well, let me tell you right now, I raced a lot of people and the StrikeMaster cuts faster. Despite the blade spinning slower, it definitely cuts faster. You can race me anytime, and let me say that speed has nothing to do with this efficiency of fishing. Really, it just has to deal with reliability. But for fun, fishing, racing augers can be just a fun way to get with people, compete, you know, see what they've came up with in blade design in the last few years. So hopefully that helps you guys out. Please subscribe for more. I'll give you more gear reviews, more tips, and hopefully this was helpful. See you on the next one.